We are in the home stretch of best ball drafting season, preseason. The season is coming up soon, guys. But today we've got another draft. It's going to be BBM number 120 for me. Stream draft number 184 as we are on our quest to get 200 stream drafts here on YouTube this year. Of course, we got preseason news, a whole lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Today I'll be picking the 2-hole and did a couple drafts last night. Nothing too noteworthy. I feel like now that my tweet, I got a lot of likes on that tweet. I think it popped on people's For You pages about how soft the 10 p.m. to 11:30 time period is drafting in a BBM. I feel like as a result now, all the red badges are coming in that time period. So I fucked it up for myself as I'm wont to do. But of course, you guys know that by now. And shout out to the regulars in chat. We got our guy Feeling Moosey, who's in one of the rooms I was in last night, did a good job. Our guy Justin here, appreciate it. It's got to be a special occasion for you to get that action on Backdoor Bo. Hey, never a bad time for Backdoor Bo. But hey, he's on the thumbnail. We'll start with him. I actually didn't have him up top here, but Bo Nix officially named the Week 1 starter for Denver. The first Broncos rookie to start Week 1 since John Elway is the thing you'll probably see with every mainstream article about it. But I've been in Team Bo Nix since pretty much day one, the moment I saw his stats in college. Reviewed him here on the stream in January on Splash Plays. So like Bo Nix, happy to see it. And I'm happy to see myself in the 2-hole. Can make up a little bit on Tyreek. Can also go CD Lamb here. I'm going to go CD, and let's hope we get some fun stuff back. So CD Lamb at the 2-hole here. Would love to get in the double digits on CD. With me getting above the field on Jefferson. I'm above on Amon-Ra. Have gotten even on Tyreek, even on Jamar Chase. A little bit above the field on A.J. Brown. RBs are suffering for me in my ownership, but I like wide receivers. What am I going to do? Other news items, though, we got Joe Mixon finally practicing for Houston. That's a big one. He's not practiced, I believe, at all, unless I missed it at some point. But he hasn't practiced this month. I don't think he came into camp at any point last month to actually practice. So Mixon being out there is important. Obviously, he's got the contract. He's got the workload. And, hey, he got more time to heal up. So that's probably a positive, even though he could be a guy now playing himself into shape a little bit. Depends what he's been doing during his quote-unquote off time. Brock Bowers being held out for his foot right now is quote-unquote precautionary. He's expected to play Week 1, so shouldn't be anything that drags him down in drafts, though right now he could fall in drafts because of the fact people see the foot injury, don't see, oh, he's going to go Week 1. We've seen how that happens with Jahan Dotson, a guy that I bought pretty much every draft in the 18th round. People thought he wasn't going to play Week 1, even though they were like, hey, he's going to be fine. He'll play Week 1. So that's how people react to injuries. Keep that in mind. An injury, that's not really an injury. A little bit of an advantage for getting guys that's slightly better CLV. Closing line value, of course, if you're not familiar with that. Deshaun Watson dealing with arm soreness. Kevin Stefanski said he could go, but won't have him do it now. So never great to see the guy coming off of arm injury. Also, frankly, feels like Deshaun has a bit of the yips since his trials and tribulations and getting the big contract too. That could be a factor. But for Deshaun, arm soreness, look, can't worry about it. But for him in particular, I think you cast a little bit of an eye to that one. You go, all right, Deshaun, I don't know. But maybe that's why he needs other people to use their arms on him. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets had their best practice. He was called dominant, or the team was called dominant, not he was called dominant. Team was called dominant in the practice. This comes the same week where they had an awful one. Again, this kind of speaks to me what I expect the Jets to be, an up and down team, a team that, again, the defense is going to be the thing carrying it for the most part, but I have to give him credit because I did bash him for having the bad day in practice and saying, ooh, that supports my priors. Here they're showing the ceiling here, and if you're buying it on the Jets, you're buying it on the ceiling based on their price tags. For the Bills, it's likely a quote-unquote 2A/2B situation for the running back behind James Cook, and that's referring to Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. Not sure who 2A would be. I think it seemed like Ray Davis to be 2A, but fundamentally he's saying there's no backup necessarily right now, direct backup for James Cook. It's these guys splitting a role based on situation. Bo Nix officially named the Week 1 starter for Denver. We talked about that. Dennis Allen on Kendre Miller. Here's the exact quote. I feel like I do have to conjure up a Dennis Miller character or Dennis Allen character to talk about Kendre Miller. I know he's talented, but I don't know if he can learn the system. I don't know if he can pick up the system because I haven't seen him out there. That's how it would come off to me if I were doing a line reading. Well, let me get one more here. I know he's talented, but I don't know if he can learn the system. I don't know if he can pick up the system. I haven't seen him out there. That's him going like unhinged about it. But anyway, that's where we are with Kendre Miller. That's how it should make you feel if you have exposure to Kendre Miller. RB heavy room, by the way, here. So we're seeing how it goes. Dude, is Dennis Miller? I don't even, what was he? He's like, hey, babe, I don't know. He's talented, but I don't know if can he learn the system? I can't do Dennis Miller. Come on. I could yell. I could act it. I could find character notes. I was a theater minor at USC. I'm wearing my USC shirt today. It's bringing it all back. Mike Gesicki had his best practice in Cincinnati after a quiet start. Apparently really hasn't been good in practice any day. The exact quote was that he hasn't been the talk of the locker room, but yesterday he had a good day at camp. So Gesicki, people have been buying him for a while. Feel like a little bit less enthusiasm for it currently, but he's seeming like he's moving in the right direction. And we got a pick coming up here, but all right, some of the fun guys going away. Nico, Malik gone. One of them would have been a tasty treat to have on the way back. Did I hear the AR news / soundbite? Which specifically? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Olave coming back, a little bit of a discount. Obviously, Devontae would be nice as well. I don't know what Polo XBT is going to do. Gotta think. Gotta hope he won't take Devontae. Smith, to be clear. I guess there are two Devontaes here. Honestly, if I get either Devontae back, I'm okay with it. The bad one here is him taking both Devontaes. But I hope he's going to take Ayuk with one of these picks. Because the hope here is that we want to get correlation with either Olave, who we're getting a bit of a discount. Again, 23. Remember Chris Olave was going for the 1-2. Oh, he takes Mahomes. Oh, that was out of left field, guys. Holy shit. Where's it going to go now? Rashee Rice at 25. Come on, Polo XBT. That was unexpected. CMC drafter doing wild man thing. Okay, Brandon Knight. So he came back down to earth after that one. I think we have to go Devontae Adams here. I've got CeeDee Lamb with Devontae Smith enough times. I think getting CeeDee Lamb with Olave and Adams with that week 17 correlation is pretty unique. So Devontae Adams, come on down. I wish this Devontae would fall all the way back around. Maybe these guys could take some more RBs. But a CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams start. That's pretty sick. I actually don't know if I've gotten Olave and Adams together at all. I know I've seen people on stream take them at the ones who turn over here, reaching for it. Kind of thought there'd be a buy window where you might be able to get them together, and maybe we're in that buy window now. So pretty sick. Why does Al Boogie have to go away? Are you feuding? You have to kiss and make up? Stack is rare. Love it. Thank you. Yeah, fun start here. Tasty start, says Brandon. I'll take that. All right, rest of the news items here. Alec Pierce and A.D. Mitchell will both play, which I've been saying for a while now. I've been taking Alec Pierce in the 18th round if I have AR. I think that's the time to take it. Pierce remains the best Colts receiver, is the exact quote, at getting open down the field. He's more effective on short routes and crossers than he's been in the past. They even talked about him potentially making this year 3 leap. So I think the Pierce signal is not bad. The AR signal right now is a little bit low. But the Pierce signal is not bad. So I think, again, viable last round pick. You have a Giants build. You have a Colts build. Those are the main times I'm doing that. Correlation being the tiebreaker there. Exact quote from Brian Dable here is there's not a lot of mental mistakes for Theo Johnson, which I think would bode well for him, earning more reps as we go. He's already been the lead pass down back. Chris Manhertz taking some of the blocking reps away from him. But over the course of time, if he's not messing up, he should get on the field more. So Theo Johnson, love him as an 18th round pick. Exposure-wise, I'm not sure where I am on him. I think I'm creeping my way to 8% on him. I'm at 4%, so creeping. I guess that's still creeping for a last round guy. But Theo Johnson, I really do think viable. Him and Gesicki, good reports here, guys. You can take late if you are trying to make that work. We got Drake May. His exact quote again, isn't 100% sure Jacoby Brissett is a starter. So Drake May seemingly thinks he's in this one. We did hear a quote earlier in the week that Gerard Mayo saying the competition's still going. But Jacoby Brissett is currently the QB1. Still think that QB1 will go Brissett's way, but he hasn't done enough, it seems like. And May is gaining momentum a little bit. They're talking positively about him, says he looks a little more confident in the field. Beat reporters said that. Mayo said that. So could end up being one where May sneaks it out. I'd be surprised, but it wouldn't shock me. So I guess the best way to say that. Mike Tomlin announced the Pittsburgh starter after Saturday's game. So, the time window, he'd have to do that anyway. I guess he could keep it under his hat the entire time, but you should know if you're trying to draft Justin Fields. Honestly, next week could be a really big Justin Fields buying period or a bigger Justin Fields dip period. So keep that in mind, I guess, however you're approaching it right now. Javon Baker, I know a lot of you guys like him, so I did put this news item in, even though it's not really a serious one or really one with a lot of concreteness to it. But Javon Baker, exact quote was he has not been making big plays, not in the mix with the first team now. So Baker feels like, again, he's going that Troy Franklin way, to a lesser extent, the Leggett way coming down. Just guys that don't quite have the role yet, even though Leggett's been making some plays recently, getting back in practice and working with the first team a little bit more. Eli Mitchell back at practice. Luke McCaffrey too. I'd add to that group of like receivers that just aren't there right now. They're not dead, but they're not there right now for sure. Eli Mitchell back at practice for the Niners after his hamstring injury, but Jordan Mason got the carry on the first play of practice, so he's likely still ahead of Mitchell on the depth chart. Isaac Guerrero also back from his hamstring injury, so it's a pretty big one to watch out for, I guess. For him, though, him coming back at the same time as all these other guys coming back is probably not a great sign. Even Mason missed a couple days of practice, and then he's back too. So you're not going to see a chance for Guerrero to really make a leap up working with the first team. He can still get there because of his speed, but he's not there yet. So there you go. There's our news segment for today, guys. Again, if you get something useful out of that, please subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. New shows here literally every day right now. Drafts every day at 11 a.m. on the East Coast is the start time where when I'll have a draft going. So please subscribe. Please hit that like button. Leave a comment. It all supports me here. Competitive Space going against Davis Maddock today. So not saying that so you go click over there and watch him, but maybe you can watch him after, But it's competitive here. So like hitting the like, hitting the subscribe, doing all that stuff, leaving a comment. It all goes a long way. And, of course, depositing an Underdog goes a long way. And one day, I'm going to remember to put a $1,000 deposit match on there. But it is now $1,000 deposit match for new signups on Underdog. So check that out if you have it. And if you have deposited Underdog, check out Drafters. Again, a lot of overlay going on Drafters. I think they're now at 40-something% filled, low 40s. So still a long ways away from even the 75 to 80% they thought they could hit. So if they get to 75%, you're talking about $400K in overlay. And the Drafters mailing, which is $15 entry fees, $500K to first place. So again, if you haven't played on Drafters, I'd really recommend it right now. Great site to play on. I do double headers on the weekend doing on Drafters. So check that out, of course, drafters.com. There we go. All right, we plugged. Good plugs. I think I did a great job. And I guess sometimes you got to make yourself feel good about it, right? Oh, the Bengals talking smack. Yeah, I didn't see the quote from him, but I talked about that yesterday. I mean, I'm not worried about it. For him, honestly, it might be something that motivates him a little bit, but he's going to be up and down passer. Like he's not accurate. But yeah, we had a lot of conversation about this yesterday. People want me to comment on it. I'm not the AR spokesman this year, to be clear. I think at his price tag, I've moved my love and energy a little bit more towards my new son, Jaden Daniels. But I'm rooting for AR, and I still think he's going to have, good passing game moments, but he's going to have moments where he sucks. He cleaned it up by the end of practice, though. I'm not worried about it. There we go. I like Davis, but he can wait. Hey, I feel the same way. Davis can wait, my new movie. Fucking Diggs goes one pick before. God, I hate having the red badge right in front of me. Getting Diggs all the way back would have been a phenomenal time. Still getting Cooper would continue to make us unique. Really nothing here that's a pressing correlation requirement. But Cooper will be the pick for me. And we'll see what the one hole thinks of Terry McLaurin. We'll see what the one hole feels about him. If the one hole doesn't like him, Terry McLaurin's coming home with me. If the one hole does like him, then I don't know. He took Mahomes. Does he get tempted to take Lamar and Mark Andrews as well? Like it wouldn't be shocking. Got to cheer for AR. I got him in a lot of leagues. I think no matter what, he's a very fun player. So like everybody should root for AR, even if you wanted to fade him. And I would get fading him at his price tag because he's timing out on Terry. No, okay, he does go Lamar. Wow. I called that one. Was as good as the one that Crane got a few weeks ago on Ship Chasing where he picked the guy picking Rashad White. But this guy did, in fact, go Lamar. He couldn't resist it. You got Mahomes, Lamar, CMC, and Ayuk. What a team. And he goes, all right, he does go Andrews. So, all right, Terry McLaurin. I'm going to 33% with Terry is where we are. Could be a Josh Jacobs day, but yeah, no, this is Terry. This is clearly a Terry spot. How could it not be? Terry McLaurin, come on down. And look, if I get him without Jaden, I can live with it as well. Still believe in the upside for Terry, who broke a big play yesterday. Didn't put in the news items because it wasn't really news, but Terry McLaurin, nice catch and run for a touchdown in practice. Felt like that for him. It was something where it felt good about. He felt good about it because of the fact he's been working on his yards after catch all offseason. So I'm encouraged for Terry, and I do think, for whatever consternation people have about the Commanders' depth chart at receiver, if it is muddied, if it's guys that aren't good, Terry McLaurin's probably the one that benefits. So we're doing okay. AR is just a bad passer, but still good for fantasy. Yeah, I mean, that's correct. I don't think the thing is, like, he's not a bad passer because as long as you don't make catastrophic turnovers and all that, like, you could be inaccurate. You just have to be inaccurate, like, where you're missing guys and you're not creating picks. But he, like, his, overall approach in passing where you're getting more targets downfield, you're doing that. I guess it just depends how you view passer. Like, he's not, he's not Bo Nix. He's not Jaden Daniels. Like, he's not this incredibly accurate guy who's going to be able to hit the ball everywhere it has to go. Like, I bet he sucks in that net drill when the guys throw the ball into the net from a certain amount of distance. I'm sure he's awful in that. But, like, at the same token, it's like, it's the overall picture, it's the whole thing. I think he can be a winning QB as well. Like, if he gets to be, 63% completion rate guy, 65%, like, we're talking then, you're getting the most out of the most physical player in the world and enough as a passer that it can work. And he's got to hit the deep shots too. Like, connecting on the deep stuff, you can miss in the intermediate range enough as long as you're connecting deep and, moving the sticks enough times. Can't Ty today going to give up on chatting for a minute? Oh, tough scene. You got the yips too. Everybody's got the yips. No consideration for Lamar Andrews. I think it's the most cozy combo for other people. I don't really like it for that reason. Every sharp drafter loves doing that over and over and over again. I should probably have more in my portfolio, but for right now, no. Especially getting Cooper as a value, McLaurin. I'd rather layer on more uniqueness on a team that I feel like is already pretty unique, as opposed to having a unique team and then throwing on, combo that a lot of people have. I don't know. Might not be the right way to view it, but I feel like I have a lot of mental fatigue from seeing everybody. Like, if you've watched any stream this summer, I think there's at least a coin flip chance, if the streamer is in this range, that they are drafting Lamar and Mark Andrews and trying to do it. Usually going Andrews first. Like, so many people have done that. I wouldn't be shocked if that were one of the highest owned combos that isn't like a natural ADP combo. Yeah, ton from the 2-hole, ton from the 1-hole. And then over here too, like, then people think they're slick and they're like, oh, I'm pushing it here and they're getting it over here. But it's like, okay, you reached for Andrews then. You're getting the same combos over here. Like, if I had to guess, there's Lamar and Mark Andrews combos with like everything in the first 3 rounds here. From the 1 to the 6, probably not 7. But I would bet everybody, like, people have hit every single Lamar Andrews one you can in those spots, if I had to guess. Just based on how often I've seen it. Because there aren't a lot of things that I'm like, oh man, that happens all the fucking time. That's one that happens all the fucking time. But, hey, it could absolutely win. It could be the thing that advances everybody into the playoffs. And I'm just like, well, hope this Jaden team does well. Hope Jaden and Ben Sinnott can keep up. But yeah, I got it. Who do you think could be the Atlanta? It's going to be Ray Ray. It's going to be Ray Ray McLeod, most likely. He's already been held out with the starters when they held the starters out last game. So that's it. Casey Washington is like a fringe threat for him. They can always bring somebody else in too, if they feel like that spot's not producing enough. But yeah, it's Ray Ray right now. The month where we had those Lamar Andrews screenshots that were all the same and everybody says I'm winning BBM. Yes, that was my For You page was dominated by him as well. But really, like, that's, to me, that's one of the things I would say that's like the song of the summer for BBM would be Lamar and Andrews in whatever way. And people still thinking it's like awesome. And it might be. It might be. But I think that's one of those things where it's been good. It's been a good combo for enough years. And then people saw like, oh, there's an easy way to get it. And then you put those two things together and it's like a tsunami coming in of what that's going to be. Atlanta going to sign a free agent wide receiver after cuts. I feel like I haven't heard enough Mooney buzz. Like, they paid him enough money where I think they're kind of be pot committed to him for a year. I haven't heard enough Mooney buzz, just being real about it. All right, we got Fat Keenan Allen here. Could it be wide receiver 6? I think Alvin Kamara at this point. I do like a little bit of a value on Mixon, and this is a pretty big value on Keenan Allen. This is an 11-pick value on Fat Keenan. But Mixon at a 7-pick value also feels pretty good. I also just want to see what this buffoon's going to do if I take Fat Keenan. So I'm going to take Fat Keenan here. We're now technically an extreme zero RB team, but like this guy's got to take receivers at some point, right? Like Alvin Kamara was going to be my pick if Mixon weren't such a discount. But Fat Keenan at a 11-pick discount, I'm not mad at it. We're not perfectly matchy in terms of week 17 correlation. Okay, so I figured he was going to have to reach up and get receiver no matter what. Unless he was just like doing buffoonery. So we got Mixon all the way back now, an 11-pick discount for him. This is a tough one. Correlation for Kamara. Could build out NO Las Vegas a little bit more. Or huge value on Mixon, who's a guy I like. I think I got to go the Mixon way. Too big of a discount. All right, so this team is probably a 1 of 1 at this point, if I had to guess. I mean, maybe not 1 of 1, but like as close to it as you can get here. We got Joe Mixon, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen. So we should be done at receiver. You take 6 receivers in the first 6 rounds. That's extreme zero RB. You're done. We could hit RB pretty well now. Getting Mixon as an 11-pick discount is pretty solid right away. This team, I think, is unlikely to be duped too often, if I had to guess. Who's my favorite free RB at the end of these drafts? Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby would be it. Justice Hill's not free anymore, but I think he's a good one too. And he does correlate with Houston, so I take him a good amount. Who else in the 18th round? Let's go all the way down. Not that far down. All right. Yeah, Tank. Estime still. He's an 18th round guy. He would count. Those are probably the 3 I would go with. Tank, Estime, Justice Hill. I mean, they're all grouped here together. Carson Steele's a fullback. I don't think that's a real play. Maybe he has one spike day. I find it hard to believe that's a real play. Shout out Kendrick here, Spags Day 1 crew. Thank you. Thank you for your support in my quest. Gonna need that BBM money at this point. By the way, the Probably investment tour is still going on if anybody out there has enough money and wants to help me keep the company alive. So please feel free to DM me if so. And of course, I did actually put in I should get the link real fast here. Hold on. So I'm going to be doing an event next Thursday night. It's going to be something different. The site prediction, where basically people are going to be able to come into the room and get on camera with me. And I'm doing basically an NFL betting preview where I'm going to have some stuff prepped in advance. We're going to do questions and have people on, and basically going to be a thing where I'm just going to bring you guys who are regulars on who want to be on this thing. But let me see. Here's this link. If you want to get in, it's next Wednesday. Excuse me, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Prediction. No, not spelled this way. You're going to be doing there. It'll be simulcast to YouTube as well, so you can also watch it on here. But basically, it's going to be me talking about like my favorite, year-long bets, Rookie of the Year, MVP, Super Bowl odds. So I'm going to make my like official picks for all that stuff on that stream. But that's coming up next Wednesday at 8 p.m. And they're paying me, so please show up. But it's free for you guys if you want to join on there. And then again, like basically, if you have camera access, what it'll do is I can bring you on the stream at points. I'm gonna have like a producer apparently with me, and I'm gonna be doing that next Wednesday at 8 p.m. So haven't had you guys on stream in a minute, so that'll be one way to do that if you want to do it. 2 spots. Hey man, new to best ball, only doing sit and goes. Any strategy tips? Struggling with 1 RB, or you shouldn't be doing 0 RB in a sit and go. You should be probably doing hero. You could honestly do bimodal. Everything else should be the same. A little bit less stacking. Week 17 correlation less important, and honestly maybe mostly a non-factor, but I would still have some. But you're treating it more like total points, I think. Like treating it more like a drafters would be the way to do that. The few rich people I know is Trevor Story. Unfortunately, I don't think you can invest in gambling. I mean, it's a data product to be clear, but please send Trevor Story a DM and let me know. Athletes invest in stuff like this all the time. Kevin Durant's invested in stuff. My dream investor would be Kevin Durant. I love what the boardroom stuff does. Receiver still got pushed down in this room. That's been pretty RB piggy-ish. But Addison at 90, that's not too bad for that guy. That's what I just said, Brian. You can do hero, bimodal. That'd be 2 RBs early. I didn't know Al and Adam have this storied history. I hadn't seen it before. Oh, did he invest in Underdog? Good. I didn't know that. I know they had a bunch of investors early on. I remember when they put out that dot, like they had put out some graphic where it's like our investors. It was like a fucking 100-person list. It's like, okay. I don't know how you did that. All right. We got a pick coming up here. Value-wise, nothing too crazy. Some picks that could make a bit of sense for a team like ours, I suppose. What is J-Ma going to do? All right. Well, I think this is a spot for 2 QBs to be selected. Well, I have no shares of Joe Burrow, huh? Doesn't surprise me, but I can't get him when I have Jamar Chase. And I don't take T. Higgins, so I get why I wouldn't have Joe Burrow, but that's a little bit spooky. A little bit spooky to see. Anyway, Jaden, pick one here. Get me to 40% Jaden. I'm not going to complain. The injury risk will scare me. And we also have CeeDee Lamb, so I think doing Dak wouldn't be crazy here. But taking another RB seems a little bit more logical. Obviously, Brian Robinson, a guy I like in every build, and nothing about this year has made me want him less. So Brian Robinson feels like the pick. Njoku for Cleveland, actually. You know what? I'm low on Njoku. I think RB is going to fall in this room a little bit if I had to guess. So I'm going to go Njoku. People want me to get more Njoku. Today's the day. And we have 2 potential outs now for late QB. We can go New Orleans, Las Vegas. We could go to Sean. We could do both. So technically, I guess that'd be 3 potential outs there. And Caleb is still floating around if we wanted to go there. Absolute zero Joe's kind of crazy. Not really. I mean, do I think that he's the guy that like wins everything over the course of a year and in week 17? I really don't. I think Burrow's best days for fantasy might be behind him. But that's more of a gut read than it is anything based on true data. How was he last year? Or how he played? Let's see. Burrow last year. He had negative 0.06 EPA per drop back, negative 0.06 EPA per pass. Accuracy was fine. 81% catchable ball rate. 71% on target. Pretty much like dead average with the decent QBs. There's nothing new, like looking at his numbers, and the pressure wasn't good. He got pressured 20% of the time. There's some things with Burrow that I think were not good, but it's mostly, again, it's just the configuration of things where I don't take Higgins, or I didn't take Higgins for a while. Now Higgins is just like impossible for me to grab. He always goes a little bit earlier than I want to take him. And for Chase, I was low on for most of the year too. So when you do it that way, I do have a lot of Bengals through the run game. I have one of the highest exposures to Chase Brown. I've been taking him since the 130s, like regularly. So yeah, I guess I have Bengals in other ways, but just not through the pass game. It's also too because Burrow, like in rooms, like you see him go 103 here. Like I think his price is like late 90s. His ADP is what, late 80s? Yeah, his ADP is late 80s. And then sometimes people take him in the 60s. So like I also can't pin down Joe Burrow. As a result, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I don't need the bet. I kind of feel like there's no Bengals bet this year where I'm like, man, I'm really missing out. Like maybe the RBs, that's about it. I just don't feel like I'm missing out on the Bengals personally. Sure, maybe it all comes together. What's your QB and T cutoff for stopping at 2? What? I don't know what you're trying to say here, Brian. Like how good they have to be? It's all relative. I don't know. If you have one elite at any position, that should probably be a 2 QB, 2 tight end build. Pretty bullish on Burrow. They were very sneaky about his wrist injury last year. They've been sneaky about it this year. It's still going on. It's still a lingering concern. He had like enough tendon damage in there that I think there's like some risk to that. I'm not an injury worrier. That's not the reason why. And you can be bullish on Burrow. At this price tag, though, like I agree that he's very similar to Dak, Jaden, Jordan Love. But I don't think he's CJ Stroud. I don't think he's Kyler Murray. I don't think he's AR. And I'd rather have other guys in this tier. So that's the whole thing with drafts, though, is like you have to kind of make a stand on somewhere. And some of these guys I make a stand on. The Jets and the Bengals are 2 teams I tend to make a stand on. Do Jefferson over Chase, don't love T, love the run game. Yeah, look, I think it's a logical take to have. But look, I've gotten 8% Jamar Chase. He happens to keep falling in rooms. Though there was an article that came out. I didn't put it in the news stuff because I don't want to increase the panic over something that might not be worth panicking over. But they were talking about Jamar Chase and how he held himself out in college and how that might impact how he would view things holding himself out as a pro for the year. I don't know that he would do that, but I do think the Bengals run the risk of it a little bit. And I still think that because he's a rookie, like even if he missed like in-season games, I think he could still get those fines back. So he can really put their feet to the fire if he wants to. And if Jamar Chase, if there are more reports that come out about him missing games, Jamar Chase could fall into the second round. So it probably isn't even a buying window on Jamar Chase right now. Like, people are going to freak the fuck out if there's a real report that comes out. Like, let's say ESPN, Adam Schefter, tweets out that, oh, like, Jamar Chase planning to hold out of games because of the fact that, like, people will lose their fucking minds. You got one more week where it could be a thing. Al doesn't like me because I sniped him on Jaden. I had Terry and Pitts. Oh, well, there you go. If you got Terry is squatters' rights for Jaden. I know the market doesn't believe that, but Terry is the guy you want there. Dallas Goedert coming back for some Philadelphia correlation would be nice. I think I have to keep a light on maybe for a Kenneth Gainwell or Shipley at the end of a draft. So should we be slamming Higgins? I guess that's true. I mean, if Chase misses games, then yeah, Higgins comes up. And Higgins had a good camp. Higgins has done exactly what he has to do. I hate this is another good receiver spot that totally makes sense for me. But we're not going to go that way. We will increase the Cleveland bet, though, and go Jerome Ford. Still one of my favorite bets on the year. Some guys here, by the way, another range I'm low on because I just don't usually go receiver around this spot. And Shaheed, too. He was priced too highly for me for a while. But a lot of RBs in this range for me. Oh, Al claimed that him having London made Jaden a snipe. Yeah, it's not. That's certainly not true, but I don't know how Al Boogie does business, but that's definitely not a snipe. When you have a receiver for that QB and then you take the QB. Even if you have the same receiver or the same QB, like with different receivers, you both have rights for the guy. All right, so we have Eckler here would correlate. I don't mind getting a little bit more of him. Zeke would give us more Dallas correlation. I still do believe in Zeke, even though the markets do not. In this room, would Zeke maybe fall all the way back? Would be the one thing. I am going to go Eckler here. We just can't afford to do the seventh receiver. I like Rashid Shaheed. But like we took 6 and 6, so we really can't afford to deviate any more at RB. So we're going to go with our third RB here. It's a 1-3-6-1. We have Jaden Daniels at QB, Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler as our RBs. At receiver, again, that extreme zero RB build with really big values too. CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, and Keenan Allen. And a tight end, David Njoku. So I wouldn't be opposed to adding a seventh receiver at the end of the draft. For right now, though, really cannot take another receiver at any point. Been packing Higgins bags for a few weeks. Look, I think it makes sense. If you did know, like, again, if there's reports, the same reports we're talking about here, Adam Schefter puts out a tweet, says Jamar Chase planning to hold out until he gets a new contract. Bengals don't want to budge. Higgins probably comes up to like the 20s. So I think it's logical to buy Higgins if you're trying to get that last grasp at CLV. The flip side would be, though, like if you just load up on Higgins right now and then Chase does agree to a deal and the Bengals do something that'd be out of character for the Bengals, but they still could do it, then you would get kind of stuck with, bad situation for Higgins. Or not a bad situation, but like you're buying him in the hopes of getting that boost and you don't get that boost. That's the risk point. Don't like Higgins either, but I'll draft him over Chase. Like I'll take Chase. If Chase came down to like the 1-2 turn because people are worried about him missing games, I think it'd be a pretty compelling pick, especially given that BBM is, 80% filled, right? I think that's still where we are. Check the fill rate in a different tab. Fill rate's 79.8%. So yeah, right under 80. All right. Can't believe we're almost done with this. Can't believe the drafting year is nearly done. It's crazy. Michael Pittman is a gem. And by what capacity? Michael Pittman is way overpriced for what he is. I mean, I bought him. I'll buy him in the mid-30s, but I've said it enough times on stream. I think Pittman should be, he's now going here in this room. I think he should be behind Zay. Wouldn't shock me if Rashee Rice flips him at some point in this next week. Pittman positive regret. He played really well last year. He was actually played out of his mind last year relative to Michael Pittman. I hate that like people come in with takes that are too hot about guys. Like I have no issue with Michael Pittman. Really, I'm not really drafting this year because I don't think the price works. As a player, I think he's solid. But like, I hate having to go like, this is really not true. Like, how could he have positive regression? He crushed by his ADP last year. By every standard you could have for him, he crushed. And I think you give a lot of credit to that for Minshew and how Minshew runs an offense. I think he would have gotten there with AR as well. Probably, a little bit less floor, maybe occasionally more ceiling. But he was great last year that's why he's up. That's why his ADP is up so much, besides just wide receiver ADP is moving up in general. Is this actually a thing, Jay? Or if you're making this up, I swear to God. Oh no, multiple people saying it. Well, I guess I have a share of the Eagles now at high volume. That's got to be good for my McCaffrey. Former first round pick and a fifth for a third and 2 7ths. All right. Yeah, that's official from Adam Schefter. Wow. All right. I mean, he's going back. He's a Penn State guy, right? So back in the area. Okay. One of my highest exposed players is now a Philadelphia Eagle leverage play in a Kellen Moore offense. And my Luke McCaffrey bags just got like so much better. Oh man. Yeah, Johnny Wilson not dead, but Johnny Wilson looking worse. It's hard for a receiver to come into a new offense at this point. So I wouldn't say Wilson's dead, but he'd been taking him in round 18 a bunch. Probably wouldn't want that. Dotson's going to come up though. Oh shit. We're going to fucking clean up the CLV on Dotson. Oh, thank God. Thank God for my 17% Dotson. And the good news is he'll still correlate with Washington for week 16. Oh, this is a tremendous win as long as he doesn't end up getting dusted in the depth chart. That's a weird trade. Why would they do that? Is something like somebody hurt for the Eagles? Luke McCaffrey's been a good sleep. Here, you want to see a Luke McCaffrey bags, guys? Oh, yeah, 22% Luke McCaffrey. Move on. Come on down, Luke. Oh, thank God. Wow, maybe this year I'll go the opposite, where I'll get things going right for me unexpected. I know instead of teams crippling me. Dalton Schultz here feels like a pretty solid tight end too. Need to get more at RB still for sure. But Schultz at a 10-pick discount. We got the Houston bet. I'm going to do it. Different buys. We're good. I have enough Dotson. I'm not going to take more Dotson. He doesn't correlate now. Oh, shit. That's a big trade. That is a big trade. Again, I'm shocked that I'm positively ending up or possibly ending up in the positive side of EV on this. Diami. So the thing is, like, Olamide Zaccheaus might hold it back. I think this is just a McCaffrey win because, like, McCaffrey's going to take all those slot snaps, I think. McLaurin's going to play some slot. Like they were talking, John Kime put in his podcast, people worried about McLaurin not moving around the depth chart or moving around the receiver room enough. Like he's not going to be in one spot. He's going to play some slot. That could be part of the logic for them too. We got our Washington. I mean, I guess we could just do week 16 Dotson court, but no, I have 6 receivers. I got to take a fucking RB. I can't keep getting tempted by these tasty treats at other positions. Charbonnet does correlate with our little bet that we have going on Chicago. Not a big Charbonnet believer, especially in this room where I need to make it up at RB, but ADP-wise, he is still the best pick here. This is a pick you weren't getting before at 146. So it's a 1-4-6-2 build. We got Jaden, Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, Zach Charbonnet, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, David Njoku, and Dalton Schultz. Wow. This is a huge McCaffrey win. Got 30% McCaffrey on drafters, 60% Diami. Wow, Jim, that's a fucking big stand, man. It's a big stand, but sure. It's good for Dotson CLV. It might not be great for Dotson long term. But again, Kellen Moore, they want to get him. I don't know. That's not bad capital. Giving up a third rounder is legit capital to be given up for him. You know, they're getting a 5th back and giving up a couple 7ths with it, but that's not insignificant capital is what I would say. But I would think, okay, so if I had to really guess though, I think it's more that McLaurin moves the slot sometimes. That opens up an outside spot. They like Zacchaeus. They like Dyami Brown. Those guys play outside. But if I had to guess, when you're not getting McLaurin in the slot, you're probably getting McCaffrey in the slot officially now. So you're getting the job that we thought he would have. So his price really shouldn't go up further than it was before in the 170s, but it could really come up. Could really come up. You're at 140 drafts now with holy shit, Jim. Well, you're gonna make my sign up, the amount of money that my signups do look good. So thank you for that, Jim. But yeah, go check out drafters like Jim's doing. Jim's chasing overlay, doing it in an intelligent way. And a lot of Dyami Brown. He is a net winner on drafters. And because of the overlay potentially on drafters and the drafters million, just $15 entry fees and $500K to first place. Guys like Jim who are coming in now and have takes like that might really flip meaningfully. Gonna look good. So go check out Drafters, drafters.com, promo code SPLASH for a $100 deposit match. And of course, Underdog. If you haven't deposited on Underdog for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't have. But check out Underdog, promo code SPLASH gets you a $1,000 in bonus cash, not $250. It's now $1,000. One day I'll update that graphic. I promise I'll update it before the end of the year. Just gotta fucking forget. It's the one I forget every day. Eckler could go up too. Eckler's your new Dusty slot. That's not how that's gonna go. That's not how that's going to go. Sick Pittman at 50 this AM on Underdog. Couldn't pass on that one. Yeah, that's probably where he should be priced. He should be priced more in the Christian Kirk area to me. But I would get being in the Amari Cooper area rather. Where he's been going this entire time, when he was going even in like the mid part of the third round, I really was not a big fan of that. Like he was going 29 for a while. I just don't think he's the same play as like these guys here. So that's my biggest issue with Pittman. He can still hit. I still like AR. Still think AR's got upside. That's it. Do people still believe the scat backs, the slot narratives? They always come through every year in the preseason, and then people go like, "Oh, this is the year it happens." And yeah, maybe gets a few. It's always possible to get a few. Getting a full workload, not so much. The thing is, like the Dyami Brown part, I'm still not sold. You know what this could be too? I don't want to. So like the Niners stuff is weird. So with Brandon Ayuk. So Brandon Ayuk was supposedly, a few minor details that ownership needs kind of thing. Then the NFL Network reporters yesterday said it's not as close to being done as it seems. Ayuk isn't budging on a few things that the Niners don't want to get to. Commanders signal for a trade for Ayuk, given that they really believe in Jaden and think Jaden's ready for day one. Maybe that's the outside chance of a thing happening. I find it hard to believe. Again, this is just me talking out my ass. So please don't hold my feet to the fire about this being like one of my takes. But that would make sense. That would make more sense than this. But I don't know. The NFL Network report, though, like I didn't put it in my new stuff because I just thought it was odd and I didn't know what to make of it. But that was a weird thing to see. Like last night, after days of it being like ownership just has to prove a few things and it's good to go. And then there was that. So I don't know. Makes sense. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So is Dotson the new Quez Watkins, or will the role be better? The role should be better because of it being a Kellen Moore offense. It is still one, though, where you have star players commanding targets next to him. So that's something that is going to be tough for him to dig out of. Or we got to get our other QB here, or other QBs, really. And you know what? At this point, I think we've got enough to go Deshaun's way. So I'm going to go Deshaun Watson here for one of these QBs at a pretty substantial discount as well. Enough of a Cleveland bet here. It's something for Miami, though. Let's see, our next pick is 191. People don't like Derek Carr, though I do. I think RB is the move, though. I think we need to prop up RB a little bit more. Antonio Gibson has a third down role. Obviously, I like the talent of Marshawn Lloyd more. For this kind of room, that we just need more projection coming in. So Antonio Gibson, RB5 here. And 2 week 10 buys, 3 week 14 buys. We're going to have to make this work with one more RB. Let's give this team a read, though. Exciting day here. Usually don't get breaking trade news on a draft stream. We get Jaden Daniels, Deshaun Watson as the QBs. We get Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, Zach Charbonnet, and Antonio Gibson as the RBs. At receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, and Keenan Allen. And a tight end, David Njoku, Dalton Schultz. So for an extreme zero RB team, I feel like this is pretty well balanced everywhere besides RB. But RB can still work. I'm okay with it. So that's how I'm feeling about this team right now. Will this trade make Goddard's ADP drop a little? I think he should be unaffected, but maybe a little bit because that is somebody who can command more targets. I don't know if they wanted. I mean, they brought in Bryant. It's weird because, like, yeah, you lose a guy, you already brought somebody in because you didn't feel like you had enough guys. You got to they're bringing in another guy. But I don't know that if the Ayuk thing ends up being right, give me full credit. If it ends up being wrong, it's just a crazy theory, but it feels less crazy. Spags, you got the number 1 pick in a super flex redraft. Who are you taking, Allen or Hurts? For not dynasty, right? Just 1 year. For 1 year, I would probably be Allen, I guess. Though honestly, it's Allen based on the markets. I like Hurts' situation a little bit more, just because of the Kellen Moore of it all. I don't think you're going wrong either way. I would probably just play it safe and take Allen, but I don't think there's anything wrong with taking Hurts, and Hurts might be the better play. But like logically, you should probably go Allen. If you get AR, you're getting a third QB. No. AR with the price tag you have to pay on him is so high. You should only be taking 2, unless you're taking somebody really thin, like a Drake May type. Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, honestly, I don't think you're going wrong either way. The thing with Hurts, if you were to try to correlate a little bit and get a stack partner, it's going to be much easier to do that with Josh Allen. And honestly, you could get multiples for Josh Allen and, not feel that bad about it. But yeah, I'm not going to go wrong either way. Terry to the moon, Terry McLaurin to the moon. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's been kind of going that way this offseason anyway. He's really the one guy who's locked into the role who's done something before. If you're going to have Nico Collins and how I view this Washington offense, it's McLaurin, both stylistically and in terms of like just what he is. So it's going to be fun. This Dotson thing is a real curveball, but I'm excited to see what happens. I'm really got to positively affect the CLV though. I think no matter what, people love Philly. Really hope Ayuk stays a Niner. I mean, I'm not going to have him correlated with Jaden as much as I probably should, but I think I would have it more than I would think. I got 12% Ayuk. I think his fantasy ceiling would be higher as a commander, to be honest. But it would hurt. It would hurt McLaurin, I think, at least CLV wise. Wow, Sean. All right, Sean and Autumn. Sean and Autumn, welcome to the family. Sean, you seem like the guy who's probably the one making this choice. But Autumn, I always loved that name. Thought it'd be a good name for a little girl. So, hey, that's what we talk about here in the family. Welcome to the family, Sean. And make sure to, Sean and Autumn, make sure to sync your YouTube to your Discord, get a VIP channel added, etc. Get 10 team reviews a month for me as well. My rankings, all that stuff you get now. But welcome to Sean and Autumn. There you go. Welcome to the family. Matthew, as entitled as anybody to welcome people here. He's been a part of the family since pretty much day one. 30% Terry and BBM on 145. Wow. All right. Yeah, I mean, I would say for you don't want Ayuk then to go his way. But I don't know. If Ayuk did go to the Commanders all of a sudden, like, that would be pretty great for the Jaden part of things. It would be a pretty huge cosign on that offense. And also, like, if the defense is dog shit, it would increase the chances that we get like 30-point games out of the Commanders on the reg. I think no matter what happens, I'm winning with this change. I think. Bummed to not have Dotson with Jaden, because that's the only reason I took Dotson. But if he comes up in CLV and I just have 17% of the Eagles wide receiver 3, that feels pretty good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, adding Ayuk would make the offense tenfold better. Like, they'd be able to shoot out with anybody in the league, I think. For the most part. Bo Nix going at 189 now. My boy Bo. The irony is this is where I've had Bo Nix since day one. I've had Bo Nix at 189. Now everybody's caught up. We all saw him as young John Elway. So our last grasp at potential Miami correlation would be Malik Washington or Jonnu Smith here for our Cleveland stack. I think I'm going to go Jonnu. I do want Derek Carr in this build, but if I don't get him, I could still live with Gardner Minshew. Really don't need the third tight end, but we have an extreme wide receiver build, like a zero RB build with 6 receivers in 6 rounds. So we don't need to change off of this one too much. What's the worst QB that you take when you only get 2 QBs? Derek Carr. Derek Carr would be at relative ADP. Brian's just interviewing me here for the show. This guy went Taysom Hill at QB. You don't play him. He's not going to outscore Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. This team in the one hole has done a bad job today. Thumbs down for the driver. Anyway, another share of Derek Carr. I'm going to have a quarter of my portfolio having Derek Carr mostly as a QB3, but doing everything here. So we have 2 game stacks going technically right now. We have not fully game stacked Jaden. We have Jaden Daniels, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr. We have Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, Zach Charbonnet, Antonio Gibson. At receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, and Keenan Allen. At tight end, David Njoku, Dalton Schultz, and Jonnu Smith. I'm going to make myself a little too thin at RB here. I have to admit that. If I do what I'm going to plan on doing, which is taking another receiver to give me more correlation, and a bring back for Washington. But we have Cleveland stacked up here. So we have Deshaun with Ford, with Cooper, with Njoku. We have the bring back of Jonnu Smith for week 17, of course. For Derek Carr, we have Carr with Olave, bring back of Devontae Adams. And the hope is to get Washington with a bring back from Atlanta. Do we trust Cliff to run a fantasy-friendly offense with Daniels and McLaurin? It's going to be high volume. Do you think we've seen already that Daniels has some ability to call audibles in situations? So I get people's concerns about him being definitely a screen merchant, guy who runs the ball a little bit more than you want to see. But yes, I would trust it more. It's not as clean to me as like Shane Steichen was. Not as clean to me as like CJ Stroud getting Niners principles from Robbie Slowick coming in. But it is still, it works for me enough, is what I would say. I was really trying to galaxy brain a Taysom Hill pick on Underdog the other night while high. I feel like I almost got there. I don't know what it is. I mean, he hasn't played QB at all. Like, he hasn't played QB snaps. Obviously, for him to play QB for you in Underdog, he doesn't have to actually play QB. He just has to give you enough points. But it would have to be a team where, like, he's your QB3 and you take QB1 and 2 where, like, Daniel Jones and someone else, Sam Darnold, then maybe you could take Taysom as QB3 there. Because he could credibly beat those guys out if he's playing halfback, fullback, tight end, slot. That's what he's been playing so far. He can give you, 10 to 20 there. But, like, it has to be shitty QBs. You put him with, with Lamar, Mahomes, what is it? It's not going to do anything. He's not going to beat those guys out. If he does beat them out, it's like one time. Brian, I answered the question already. Please don't ask it again, bud. Especially not as super chats. It's Derek Carr. I said Derek Carr. Dodging the Diami over Dotson, I see. No. Why? They're not the same. They're not similar players. I mean, clearly, I guess Washington wanted to keep one more, but they also drafted one of them in the first round in the first place. They're not similar players at all. They play completely different styles of play. It's not something to victory. People really just want to victory lap anything. Like, somebody in the comments left me a chat, like, being like, "Oh, Spags called us Ertz lovers like casuals, and now here he is saying that he wants to occasionally take Ertz to defray Ben Sinnott." And then he was like saying that Ben Sinnott's like the casual take, when it's like nobody who's casual liked Ben Sinnott or even knows who he is. And in general, the reason that rookies fall in July and August is casual drafters don't like rookies. They like established vets. It is odd to me that Ertz never came up for people who are, little safety-minded people like that. But Sinnott is like, the rookie is never the casual take. So, like, whatever. People just really want a victory lap stuff. I get it. But, like, let's get into the season, guys. Victory lap your CLV, I guess, if you want. But it's not really it. Okay, dude. I don't think you know anything about this. Dude, you don't have to watch the show, right? All right. See you later. Take a time out. I'll give you one more shot. You keep in mind who's watching who. I got to be real with you. I don't give a shit about your takes. Like, you specifically make COD great again. But in general, like, I love conversing about the stuff. But ultimately, like, your take's your take. You can fucking believe whatever you want. But if you're trying to, like, dunk on me when I'm right about the vast majority of things I do here, and if nothing else, bring the right process to it, and you're just here going, this guy's good, this guy's bad. That's the dumbest take you could have in football. This guy's good, this guy's bad. Just a bad take. It's all situational. It's all opportunity-based. situational, where guys are in their growth periods. Those are the nuances that go into this. So when you go in and go, this guy good, this guy bad, the Eagles are just trading, one of the best front offices in football are just trading for bad players. Think. I'll tap the mic here. Think. It is weird they trade him in division, but also the Commanders aren't going to be competitive, so it doesn't matter. You don't trade in division when your team's going to be good. You trade in division when your team's going to be ass. Anyway, Diami Brown went the pick before me, so guess what? We're getting that Ray McLeod up. You want to talk about players who suck? Ray McLeod's one of them, but he's a starting slot. Again, situation. It's the whole fucking thing. That's you would not have that take be agreed with by anybody. He's generally regarded as one of the sharpest guys that is. Sirianni, less so. But come on. Howie Roseman's been doing a fucking good job for that team. Get out of here. 3-5-7-3. Here's the final build. So he went extreme zero RB. Didn't take the 6th RB. Could have taken a Gainwell maybe. But did Gainwell go? No, Gainwell's still here. Could have taken a Gainwell. Anyway, it's a 3-5-7-3. We got Jaden, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr. God damn it. Derek Carr, Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, Zach Charbonnet, Antonio Gibson. At receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, and Ray McLeod here. What a, boy, this room. So a lot of receiver capital up top and then just a fucking guy, just a straggler. This is like the meme of the clown behind the soldiers. That's Ray McLeod here, closing out the room. Tight end, David Njoku, Dalton Schultz, Jonnu Smith here. I like the team a lot. Again, the Dotson news threw me off a little bit. RB could have been a little bit better, but if Mixon crushes, 11 pick discount. Really value-laden room. So I'm happy with that one, guys. Going to be a one-and-done day because I know, appreciate all you guys watching for the record, first of all. Going to be a one-and-done day, though, because Davis Maddock is just chipping away enough. I would have had a lot of viewers today if Davis weren't on. That's the killer part here. But please subscribe down below. I do new drafts every day here at 11 a.m., including tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a doubleheader, Zero RB Friday coming up. So check out that one. Of course, the channel here marches on all weekend long. I'm doing drafts as well on Drafters, so check it out. Deposit on Underdog, use that promo code SPLASH. And of course, deposit on Drafters, using that promo code SPLASH as well. $100 deposit match on there. Again, overlay, very likely. Some of our guys who are already chasing it intelligently as best they can. You should too. Again, very high likelihood that Drafters is putting in like $400,000, $500,000 in overlay to this tournament. That all goes to you, basically. So check it out, drafters.com, promo code SPLASH for a $100 deposit match. Thank you all the fine folks who joined the channel. I owe this sheet an update because we have a couple new members. But our guy Red Spike, who joined yesterday, really enjoyed chatting with him. He sent me probably one of the best team screenshot reviews I've done all year. Of course, if you join the channel, supported for $4.99, you get my team reviews, 10 of them a month, VIP Discord, whole lot more here on the channel. So check that out by hitting that join button down below and support the show because it's just me here doing the work here every day. Shout out to all you fine folks out there who are gambling responsibly. Keep doing that. And hey, it's always money time here. It's always money time. Jahan Dotson money time is coming up next. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. Back tomorrow with more. Enjoy your days, guys. Thanks for hanging. And, of course, good luck. Bye-bye.